I wrote this because it snowed pretty bad here. So this is called The First Snow. There is nothing quite as good as the first snow of the year in Tilly's opinion. As the year got colder and colder, she would ask her parents when snow would be coming. When they'd get a prediction for snow, she'd stay up all night trying to catch a glimpse of the first flakes falling from the heavens. Once she saw that, then she could go to sleep. She always loved snow. As soon as she woke up, she'd put on her boots, snowsuit, hat, and gloves, go racing out the door, sled in tow. This attitude didn't change as she got older either, even when she had to drive in it. Her friends would be complaining about the road conditions, while she would be sitting there anticipating the moment when she could go home and be in the snow. Her obsession with snow ended abruptly whenever she was 18. Her parents slid off the road and died. Suddenly, she was all alone. And with that one act, she hated winter. She decided to go to college in California, where she'd never have to deal with it again. She was in the library on a rainy day whenever she met her future husband. He sat down across from her and they got to talking, found out they were from the same state. And even more so, the city that he grew up in was only 30 minutes from the one that she lived in when she was a child. He was also the only one of his friends who was obsessed with snow, and she thought, what a coincidence this is. His continued enthusiasm about snow and winter in general, in the next few months leading up to winter, got her excited for snow again. She hadn't been this excited in years. So she went home with him for winter break. It had been several years since she'd been home because she didn't have parents to go home to anymore. So after they got settled in and she met his parents, they decided to make the 30-minute drive to her town to see where she grew up. She wanted to show him the house that she lived in, where she fell in love with snow for the first time. As they drove, snow started to fall and she began to get nervous. "Pull over," she demanded. He did so. Pulled the car to the side of the road and she got out. He followed her. "It can't hurt you, you know," he said, reaching out to her trembling body and enveloping her in his arms. "What happened to your parents was just an accident. I promise I'll drive slow. Are we close? We could walk." She nodded and he smiled. He grabbed the keys from the ignition, locked the doors, took her hand, and they started walking. As they walked through the snowfall to her childhood home, she began to think of all the times whenever she was young and still in love with snow. As they rounded the corner, she saw her house. Then she saw in the yard several children running around and playing, noses red from the cold, smiles huge. They were bundled up with faces turned towards the sky. He put his arms around her as tears started to fall from her eyes and a smile spread across her face. The end.